Miss Tina here, and I am so excited because, first of all, I'm a Queen Sugar fan. So I just need to throw that out there that I'm excited for that. But I want to start back way before Queen Sugar. I want to start at the beginning. What did young Tina think that she was going to do when she grew up?
Mm. Young Tina knew in the second grade that she wanted to be an actress. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. In the second grade, I knew I wanted to be an actress. And I grew up in Evanston, Illinois, where drama was a part of the curriculum. And anytime I was in a drama class or drama period, I always sort of shined. So my mom recognized that, my mom and dad recognized that early. And my mother, we were poor, but my mother made sure that every summer I got tickets to be able to see the Northwestern Drama Department present a series of plays every summer. And I would go and my mom and I would go and I would just be in heaven watching those actors. And when the curtain would fall between that week and the next week, I would play all those characters. I would remember the lines and I would drive my family crazy because I would just be doing the lines all the time.
I love that. So you knew at a young age basically your calling. And so everything after that was to move forward towards that. Let's just fast forward to when you get one of your first projects or one of your first look. And let me just say, throughout your career, you've done a lot. Touched by an Angel, Star Trek, any day now, NYPD. But what was it like to get that first yes? That first yes of a dream that you've been dreaming since you knew it too.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because um, if I'm going to tell the journey like a storyteller, then I need to say that in the fifth grade, I was
Ooh.
in the school talent show, and um, the school talent show was happening at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm in gym class and I get the roster that tells us what the performance order is. And I look down at that roster and see that my name is the first up. And
Hey.
when I saw that, I went, and I took a gulp of fear. And that fear stayed with me for the entire day. And when I stepped onto the stage at 1 or 2 o'clock, I froze and couldn't move. The pianist I was there to sing, and the pianist, gave me an intro, and I said, "Oh, John Henry," and then I never got another word out. And I froze so completely that literally, after they kept trying to help me with the music, a teacher came to center stage and picked me up like a little cardboard, character, because I was frozen. I was
What?
petrified. Yeah. And so that's really the story that I think is most important as I talk about,
Wow.
creating this career that I absolutely love. But it took me a lot of time and investment and research and curiosity
Mm.
for me to figure out how that trauma, I'll call it a trauma because that's how it operated in my life, how I would be able to get beyond that trauma so that I could stand in the dream that had been calling me since I was
I
in the
have a
second grade.
question. What do you think that fear came from? Like, was it the fear of failure? I mean, everybody knew that you were already good. You knew you could hit lines. You already were doing it. Where do you think that fear came from?
Well, I will say this. I will say that our minds are really mercurial. and we don't always
Yes.
understand why we do or respond the way we do. What I know for sure is that for whatever the reason, I just didn't expect to be the first person. And because I was the first person, for whatever the reason, I went, oh, and I would imagine that inside of that, there was the thought, but what if, what,
Yeah.
what if,
Yeah.
what if
No,
I
I
don't
get it.
do,
Look, athlete
yeah,
here. I get it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but, in the broader scheme of things, what's important to know is that we human beings have nervous systems that are easily frightened. We have
Yep.
our nervous systems that dwell in energies that we are only now learning how to more efficiently manipulate and manage. And most people are carrying hurts, dramas, traumas, upsets, disappointments, and fears because knowing how to manage that internal world is such a new focus, but we're learning, and that's exciting.
We're learning. We're learning, and that is exciting. And so, Santa Monica City College is where you graduated from. Can you just talk? Because
I
we
don't
kind
know
of
where
we
that
went back
came
to.
from. That's on the internet. Someone put that on the internet, and it
I
is
know you lying.
no, no, no.
Where did you
That
go
is
to
not.
school? I thought I caught myself doing research.
I know. What's really interesting is that literally just this week, for whatever the reason, um, I Googled my name for the first time and I see this new Wikipedia page that has been up there. I think that what people wanted to say was I was a part of a 2-year master's program for spiritual
Mhm.
psychology at the University
Ooh.
of Santa Monica. And I have been, um, aside from acting, I have been um, just committed to and a rabid student of personal development.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
I think that that's where the confusion
I
has happened.
We gotta get somebody on there to change that and get your information right. But you actually just talked about you've been on that personal development and you're making it fun. It's called the Inner Fitness Project, I believe, and that better be right. I'm telling
Yes,
you,
yes,
the Inner Fitness
yes,
Project. But just tell me about what your thought process is on making it the personal development fun.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, first off, um, if in fact it's fun and
Mhm,
effective, then more
mhm,
people, we make the assumption at the Inner Fitness Project that more people will engage um,
mm,
when there is less fear and anxiety around, looking at self and being in
mm,
relationship with self. And the reason um, I say that we are making personal development fun is that most people's or a lot of people's, I'm going to say most people's uh, orientation or relationship to doing inner work,
mhm.
is they're afraid of opening
Yeah,
Pandora's
it's scary.
box, right? They're afraid of finding out something about themselves that they won't be able to handle. And I'll tell you that when I went to therapy for a couple of years ago, that was my fear. And yet, when I stepped into the actual experience, I was blown away by how absolutely freeing it was
Mm,
to have effective guidance in what I now call the journey back to self.
mm.
It feels scary because
Yeah.
it's foreign, And so we project onto what we don't know our greatest fears. But in
Yeah.
practice, right? In practice, there is something exciting about being able to be in a conversation with someone else or yourself and discover that, oh my God, I've been feeling this way for all of these years and I don't have to anymore. I've been feeling
Mm,
this way and it's based upon a lie or a misperception, and I can let that go. Oh my God, I
interesting.
have been,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So all of that is ways in which we can begin to transform the idea of personal development into uh, the experience of knowing yourself at such a level and accepting yourself at such a deep level that you can
Mm,
let go of that whole pretense, that never let them see you sweat burden that
yeah.
so many people
Yeah.
are carrying.
So that's very interesting because, as you know, former WNBA player, and just even in sports, just mental health is a topic that a lot of people just they don't want to be near it. They don't want to go close to it. But you said some things that it makes sense. A lot of athletes, we have to figure ourselves out on our own in a sense, and it's scary. And when you figure yourself out, do you think that your past experience is that why you got into figuring out the inner like what made you start to want to dive into yourself basically?
Yeah. So, first, I have to say that I've been called an old soul since I was born, right? So,
Like
there was
that.
something um, that was already present inside of me that was interested and curious about the human condition. My brother, whom I love to this day, even though he's been dead over 10 years now, my over 12 years, my brother was addicted to drugs. My father, who was an amazing dad and became an abusive husband,
Mm,
suffered most of his life from a trauma that took place early in his life that he
mm,
didn't realize the importance of addressing and dealing with it. And because he didn't, that pain, that discomfort wound up festering inside of him and distorting, ways in which he would think. And that distortion just became, greater jealousy, and it made him more controlling where my mom was concerned, so on and so forth. So, and the stage fright thing with me, I in my 20s, I was like, I know that I am an authentic person. And yet, over here in this area, I can be confident and, solid and sure of myself. And then in this area here, I experience breakdown. And that didn't make sense to me. And I knew that there had to be an answer. And I was committed to reconciling the confident self with the self that experienced breakdown.
yeah.
And that commitment took me on a journey. And that journey has provided so many aha moments and realizations to the point that um, I am just committed to sharing everything that I now know, because everyone, all of us, carry unresolved hurts, dramas, traumas, upsets,
Yeah.
disappointments, and fears. And if we do not address them, then they fester. And when they
Yeah.
fester, they take on a life all their own. And when they take on a life all their own, they really begin to be our boogeymen. They begin
Yeah.
to, yeah, they begin to tell us who we are. They begin to push us around, shape us, and diminish our sense of our personal power. And it doesn't have to be that way. They're lies. All of
And
them are lies. That's why I wrote my book, The Little Book of Big
I'm
Lies.
glad the book, yeah, I was just gonna say that leads me to, I can see why you write the book, The Little Book of Big Lies. Now, what are the big lies? That's the big lies you're telling me about, like the big lies we tell ourselves basically is the big lies. Is that the big
That's
lies,
right.
or am
That's
I
exactly
following it
right.
correctly?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and
that's
so
fantastic, Renee.
yeah, because well, I did my research, but
Yes.
the reason that I'm saying that is because a lot of people, like, they probably resonate very much so with what you're saying, but can you just talk about the other side of it where you figure it out and you do realize, okay, I can get rid of the boogeyman? Like, talk about the other side of that, because some people are only used to the trauma side of it. They haven't
Yeah,
had that
yeah,
resolution. And so just talk about what figuring that out does for you, because a lot of people,
yeah,
they're not there yet. So you made it to you realized the lie basically, and a lot of people haven't. So just talk about what's on the other side of that lie.
yeah, yeah. That's fantastic, Renee. So here is a glimpse emotionally of what is on the other side. Okay. So I'm going to invite you and anyone who is listening to think
Okay.
about, yeah, think about something that has been a huge challenge for you. Usually, I invite people to think about that thing that you struggle with that most people don't even know it's an issue for you. And that you don't share that with people for fear that they would lose respect, or there'd be some great shame or embarrassment on your part. Think about that. And then take this frame, I learned this in that spiritual psychology course that I was talking about, program that I was talking about. And the frame is up until now and from this point forward. So the way it works
Until
is
now,
you
until this
say,
point forward.
that so you say up until now, and then you think about that thing that has been your challenge. Up until now, up until now, every single time I even saw a stage, I would have incredible anxiety and feel small and diminished. But from this point forward, this can change for the better.
Wow. I love that. And from this point forward, I mean, you have been rocking and rolling. And in 2016, I'm going to go to the acting now, because this is the other side, and you've already been excelling. You figured it out. But in 2016, you landed a regular role in a series by Oprah Winfrey Network. So I mean, that's amazing in itself. But it's a drama called Queen Sugar, which I mean, I'm a fan of, produced by Ava DuVernay. So just rock star caliber. You're on the show, rock star caliber. What was it like just having a role on a set like that with so much culture in the set, and the show has so much culture, and everything about the show just makes us all say yes? Like, what is
Yeah,
it like being a
yeah.
part of that?
Yeah, it humbles me. It humbles me in so many ways because, um, in my journal, I wrote down in November of 2015, I think it was. I wrote down, it wasn't the first time, but I wrote down anew what my desire and intention was. And I wanted to be a series regular on a critically acclaimed show with a
Wow.
kick-ass ensemble, bringing undeniable value to a role that I could shine in. That is in my journal.
Love that.
That
Like,
is in
specific.
my,
You were that specific too.
yeah, because I knew the life that I wanted to live, right?
Wow.
And what's really beautiful is that I know that Ava had her own vision of moving her life forward, and expanding into all that she is. And Oprah has her vision and, living her life and expanding, and each person that is on the set. And what's beautiful is
I
that
love that.
the universe brought us all together so that we could fulfill this incredible journey called Queen Sugar that is brilliant.
Yes.
Ava is a visionary, and Ava, she wrote and produced and has incubated and loved this thing called Queen Sugar. Um,
Love that.
and I am so happy that, she chose me, but I also chose this. I chose
Ooh.
this in my intention and in my vision. And there's been lots of things that I haven't said yes to, but I said yes to Queen Sugar because, I didn't know it was going to be the hit that it is, right?
You didn't know that you were going to receive two NAACP Image Award nominations. You didn't know for outstanding. So, like, you didn't know that, but you wrote it down. And I like that you said that because I'm very intentional about writing things down as well. And so you wrote it down and you were specific. And now to see it come to fruition, it's season 5 is premiering. So, like, what is that like now that you wrote it down then, and now you're at season 5 looking back? Have you wrote anything else
Crazy.
down? Is there
It's
anything else
it's
that you've written
oh,
down?
for sure. That's I writing things down and being intentional, I believe, is part of
I love that.
inner fitness. But but you know, the show airs tonight.
Yes,
Queen
ma'am.
Sugar season 5 airs tonight. Um,
February 16th.
yes, February 16th, tonight. February 16th. And and in addition to that, on Sunday, I get on a plane to fly back to New Orleans to shoot season 6 of Queen Sugar.
Let's go. Let's
So,
go. Yes.
and of course, when I went to that first audition, years
Yeah.
back in I think it was the tail end of yes, it was the tail end of 2015. It was the beginning of
Yep.
2016, 2015, I think, 2015, um, the audition.
It had to
But
be because in
yeah,
2016 you were cast. So
yes, exactly. So what has been wonderful is that um, our set is an incredible place to work.
that's good.
I wanted to work with a kick butt ensemble, and every single actor is not just a great actor, but they're also amazing human beings. And so we're able to
Beautiful.
be in a work environment where where each person leaves their ego at the door and shows up on the set to fulfill the vision of Queen Sugar that Ava and Oprah had the vision to say yes to. Oprah in the form of, finding the book Queen Sugar by Natalie Bazille, and then
Mm.
Ava in the vision of turning that into a series.
Well, listen, you brought Violet to life. Does Oprah ever just pop up on set on y'all just to check in to see how y'all are doing?
No, but
No,
I
I
will
don't.
say that season one,
Mhm.
the very first, I think um, sh- the very first scene that was shot, Oprah was
Uh-huh.
here. She was in New Orleans. They were shooting
Okay.
these scenes. Yes, shooting these scenes at, oh, you probably know the name of the Mercedes stadium there. It's a big, huge basketball. I think it's
Oh, I should
something
know that,
King.
definitely.
Yeah, it's something
A
King.
Smoothie King, Smoothie King
Yeah,
Arena.
yes, that's exactly right. That's right, Renee. Yeah. And Oprah was there, and Ava was doing her thing behind the camera and on the floor, and it was filled with with people and background people, and it was very exciting and proves today to be a fantastic launch into the lives of the Borderlands in a way that has touched millions and millions of people's hearts.
Listen, I love the Borderlands, and so I know that it's premiering. You have to get out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I mean, we have to check out the book, The Little Book of Big Lies, and please, please, please get your inner fitness together with the Inner Fitness Project. Miss Tina Lifford, thank you so much for stopping by remotely, Renee.
Thank you so much. It's great speaking with you, Renee. You be well.